Coach Durwyn Lamb just did an interview with the HOMIES podcast. Tune in to them on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Great brothers. Tune in.
What up? It's your boy D Head Honcho of the HOMIES. We here with Durwyn, Alex. You know, this is the Hands, episode 2. Today we're gonna be talking about MMA.
How y'all doing today?
Pretty good.
Doing good, man. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Just another Sunday, trying to get another one in.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna talk some MMA, cage fighting.
Uh-oh. Good stuff.
Yeah, there were some fights yesterday that happened. They were so-so. But there's a lot of good up-and-coming fights that are gonna be happening next week. So we're gonna get into some of those. Gonna get into topics about bringing up fighters, things like that, from amateurs to the pros. And we got the number one OG right here, Durwyn, to help us see the inside, ins and outs of all that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So whenever a fighter first comes to you, how are you trying to read them to see how to train them?
Well, I let it flow. Usually when somebody comes in my gym, I've been doing it so long, and the spirit of discernment can show. It usually tells me after a little while if this person's going to be somebody that's going to be serious, or a person that somebody's not, and unfortunately even ones that are serious if they're really going to make it that far. So we got to be realistic with that, you know. And I'm one of those coaches that can just be realistic with guys and transparent with people. And sometimes the truth hurts, you know, but you know, having the ability to be able to see that is very, very, very important, because other than that, then you'll be wasting your time and
exactly,
you know, stuff like that, and wasting their time and stuff. So,
do you try to hold any new fighters back from sparring? Like if it's let's say someone walks in, they haven't had any fighting experience. Do you give them a few months, let them know the basics first before they start sparring, or what do you?
I have a pretty interesting coaching style. I let people spar right away.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I want them to get that feeling out their system. Because I don't want them. A lot of coaches do different things. I mean, most time people wait for people to spar. Nowadays, people let them spar pretty early, but I usually let them spar right off the jump. Let them figure some things out. Let them see some things. Let them see how it feels. Get that feeling. The cardio, all the stuff that they thought that they wanted to do. I want them to get right to it so they can say, oh, okay, well, man, oh, wow, it's not as easy as I thought it was. Or, oh, man, I didn't know I was going to get this tired. Or, wow, I didn't know I was going to get hit like that. Or, man, I didn't know I was going to say, oh, this is different in street fight. So I want them to get that right away. And then I go back, and then I just correct. We start working on the steps and start working on the fundamentals. And as we're working on the fundamentals, then continue to spar. We spar a lot.
Yeah.
Because I believe that's one of the biggest teachers, you know.
That's going through the motions. If you ever follow Ann Wolf, they spar. You know Ann Wolf.
Oh, she's one of my close friends.
They're I believe they spar every day at their gym, and but they use 20-ounce gloves just so that it doesn't.
As long as it's not reckless. Like the main thing is you can spar when it's not reckless. Like my guys spar, but I make sure I regulate it and make sure things aren't getting out of hand. I mean, there's one thing sparring hard, there's one thing sparring reckless. The good thing about my group is that they know how to work with the new people. So if I get a guy that comes, see, the reason why I let the new guys spar, because I trust my students to take care of them.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. When they go and spar, they're working with them. They're not even hitting them that hard. They're teaching them while they're sparring, so it's a big thing. So these guys aren't just getting in there and getting wailed on, getting beat up on by people, because I won't tolerate that. I just want to get in and let the older guy, let some of the veteran guys that's been training a while, let them help them and, you know, train. 100%. Like that.
Exactly.
How do you deal with the gym bullies? Because, you know, there a lot of gyms, there are those people that are like that.
Yeah, I don't tolerate it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have zero tolerance for that stuff. When I see it, I check it right away.
Hey, like, because sometimes you're getting there with me now.
Yeah, or sometimes it's like, hey, and my guys are, because sometimes people will sparring gets heavy without people trying to, and it does, and then you got to just bring it back down. I don't mind it getting a little heavy. You have to do a little bit like that, but just don't get reckless.
100%.
You know,
where you know that person is trying to
right.
Trying to knock them out.
If I know you're trying to hurt somebody, I'm gonna stop it.
Yeah.
And if I think that you're being disrespectful, then you won't spar. And if I think it's too much, then you won't come back to my gym.
100%.
So that's what I'm all
That's
about.
how it should be, because that's a big thing. Is I've been through multiple boxing gyms, and that's one of the big things. Is some coaches spar new guys too hard, and
it scares them.
Yeah, and it scares them. They don't want to come back because they just got beat up. And there's some coaches where they don't care. They'll know that they have a national champion. Sometimes they'll put them in with somebody that's only been boxing for a month.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
And once that person never comes back, then you just lose that fighter and whatever potential that he had.
Exactly.
And I think that's a big mistake that some coaches tend to make.
Yeah.
Have you ever ran into the aspect of somebody coming in the gym thinking that they're really badass, even though they never fought, and they're like, hey, I want to spar one of your guys?
Yeah, all the time. Not all the time, but it's happened. And I let them do it. As a matter of fact, those are the guys I like having in my gym.
Yeah, all right.
Because we hear it all the time. You know, the guys at the bars. I would do this if I was that. Oh man, he ain't doing this, he ain't doing that. Or street fighters like, oh man, I got a one-hitter quitter, and then they find out that coming into a real gym.
There's a lot of people that take that one-hitter quitter.
Well, they've been sadly mistaken and delusional. See, a lot of people are delusional. A lot of people in this world are delusional. And sometimes they get out of touch with reality. And sometimes they have to be brought back to reality, and that's what happens in the gym. And a lot of those guys that come in the gym like that, they end up becoming humble, and they end up actually becoming really nice guys and becoming really good fighters too.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there are a lot of people that do think that they're something, but
I've seen it all.
They come into a gym and it's completely different.
I've seen it all. There's nothing I have not seen. There's not a type of personality fighter I haven't trained. I've seen it all. I mean, if you think about it, I've been coaching for 16 years. Okay, I'm 44 years old. I've been coaching a long time. So imagine the things that I've seen, witnessed, and this 16-year period of coaching, I've seen it all. There's nothing, and when I mean nothing, there's nothing that surprises me.
And something crazy is, which I was boxing since I was 15, and I was doing it. You pretty much training Monday through Friday. The gym that I was at, they'd have Saturdays and Sundays off, but it was pretty much. I was fighting so much during the week, sparring, training, and things like that. It's like I thought about fighting 24/7 because I mean. Whenever you're really having passion for something, that's all you're thinking about, that's all you're watching. But I would really never care to start random fights on the street or anything like that. It'd be, I think personally, it was that I was just doing it so much at the gym that I really didn't care to act like Billy Badass or anything else. And whenever people would act like that, I'd just...
Yeah, because it's with fighting in martial arts, boxing, and we'll add all that together, boxing, combat sport, what it should do is bring a sense of humility to you and a confidence, and a confidence in a positive way. So when you know in your heart that you can handle yourself, you can defend yourself, then, and you know that confidence in your heart, then there's no reason for you to act like that anyway. Most of the fighters, most people that fight, if you see across the board, most of them really do have humble spirits, and you don't see them out in the street fights in the bars trying to fight, trying to do that. Those are the people that do that because they got something to prove, or they feel like they got something to prove, or they're insecure in certain ways, and they feel like they got to show off or do that. But people that's been trained properly in boxing and martial arts, and they've been taught the moral value, then those guys usually end up turning out okay. So usually don't do that. I mean, I don't do that. I mean, I come from a background. We fought in the streets when we was young. We did street things. I was a street dude, so I know all about that life, you know, as people call it. But I never allowed that to. And even though I knew I could fight, and I wasn't a big guy, so I was a smaller guy, but people still. They didn't bother me because they knew that I could fight, but they didn't bother me also because I was always respectful. So I always gave respect first and gave that respect to people first, you know what I'm saying? And then,
exactly.
You know, and never got out of line unless somebody brought that energy to me, you know what I mean? And even then, like you said, I say, well, all right, man, I know you don't know better.
And it's like you'll try to avoid it at all
If they
costs,
keep
but if they
coming back,
keep
though,
coming,
then they got to get what
you
they
gotta
need.
let them see. You know? Exactly.
They got to get what they need.
That's a big part of it. I mean, you'll be humble to a certain extent, but then once they go past that, like my rule always was try to avoid it at all costs. But you know, whenever you're at a bar or people are trying to fight in the street, they want to get up in your face. My rule was you stay a certain distance away. You come any closer, then you might as well put your hands up.
Get out my face.
Because I'm not going to get snuck, or I'm not going to get headbutted, or I'm not going to get any of that. So if you're going to fight me, you might as well just tell me you're going to fight me, and we'll just put it up from a distance. But I'm just going to say I'm going to avoid it at all costs, but I'm not going to let you be getting up in my face or anything like that, because I'm not going to be the one floored from a cheap shot or anything like that. So I'll be humble, I'll be nice. I don't want to fight, but you start running up, then
no doubt.
we're gonna have to do something.
Now you've been a coach coaching MMA for, you said 16 years now. You've had a pretty solid career. You had a couple of fighters go to UFC. Tell us what's the aspect of like the views from coaching from amateur to people going to like the professional level like UFC.
Yeah, it's all a process. It's pretty much the same. It's all a process, though. You know, if you, like I said earlier, going back to what I said earlier, if you see guys that got potential and having a career at this, then you make sure you take care of them. You know, start them off in amateurs. You know, get a few amateur fights, get their feet wet and stuff, and then you transition them to the local pro scene, which will eventually transfer to the big stage. Is kind of what you're going. So there's steps to it.
Because you've also had fighters that also did the Ultimate Fighter. Mm-hmm. You got people in the top 10. Mm-hmm. You had a real successful career, and it's probably gonna get even better for like later on.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I've seen some of your fighters put in work.
Right.
And the way that they talk about you is really, really special. So I just want to like know like, how's that connection with your fighters like real important in the MMA world?
Well, it's very important. Unfortunately, though, I got to say, through the years, I had to learn how to be careful of the relationships I have with them and certain kinds, because it's a hard being a coach. A lot of times, people, you build them up, get them up, and then they leave. And after everything, and you train them to do that. So. You just have to be careful who you have. But I believe that when you're having a relationship with a fighter, that's good because they trust you. And the main thing is the transparency between the two. You know what I mean? Everybody's not always going to hold their energy and hold their space well, because a lot of these guys are young. A lot of these guys have things going on, so they do different things. So I just learned that I can't stop being me as a man, no matter what nobody else does, right? So I get fighters that come in. I got a guy, matter of fact, I got a kid, and I want y'all to keep this name in your head. He's gonna be a world champion one day. His name is Fernandez. He's undefeated with me as a kickboxer, and he's 1-1 as an MMA fighter. He's an amateur, but he's been with me since he was 14 years old, and he's 21 now. And he has showed me nothing but what loyalty looks like. A lot of guys don't do that, believe it or not. A lot of guys aren't that loyal. They don't appreciate good coaches, and sometimes they just don't understand. You know, they're young, they're living their life, and they think it's supposed to be like this and that, so they move around. And you gotta let them do that. You know, I'm not the guy that's gonna hold nobody back. I'm not the guy that's gonna say, you know what, don't go over here. You're a grown man. I'm not going to call you and tell you when you need to go train. I'm not going to babysit you if you want somebody to go. You know, I get some guys that do that. Oh, well, he don't hold pass enough. Or, no, what you want is a guy to hold your hand and babysit you. I'm not going to do that. You're a grown man. I'm a grown man. And at the end of the day, let's keep it real. I don't get paid enough to do all that. You know what I mean? The biggest mistake that I made as a coach was that I put too much time and too much energy into those guys, and I end up starting to lose myself. My ex-wife, my marriage was one of the reasons why my marriage failed. One of the reasons why my gym started doing bad at one point, because I put so much time into fighters and energy and people that wasn't putting it into me. And I'm paying and doing this and not getting enough money. And so I realized man, I got to be smart about this. I got to pick and choose my battles and pick and choose who I want to train. I'm glad that I went through a lot of the trials and tribulations that coaches go through, because it taught me what to tolerate now and what not to tolerate now. And I realized that I can't close my mind and shut my mind down to everybody, because everybody's not going to be that way. You know, you're going to get guys that come in and it's going to appreciate you. They're going to put in the work. They're going to do right. They're going to pay their dues. You know what I mean? They're going to do right. They're going to be respectful. They're going to be coachable, because a lot of these guys don't want to be coachable. They got to be coachable. They're going to do that, you know. And so those kind of guys are the ones that I see, you know. And like I say, man, when somebody walks in my gym, usually within the first few days, a week or something, I can tell if they're going to be something that's going to go further in their career or something that's not. You know, you got to be real with them. You know, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, you know, I think that's the biggest mistake as parents tell their kids. You can be anything you want. Well, you got to break that down. Yeah. You got to break that down, because everybody's not meant to do everything. You understand something?
Everybody has to be a fighter.
That's right. And everybody in life has their own purpose, their own passion, their own goal. And so if you tell this kid, okay, that wants to be a fighter and is going to go, and no, you can't fight, you got to be a doctor. Well, you can't force that.
Exactly.
And if a kid that wants to be a doctor, you can't be the parent and say, no, I was a fighter, so I want you to be the fighter. No, you can't do that. You got to let people develop their own personality and their own spirit and their own mindset. You know what I mean? And that's what I do with my guys. Anybody that's in here training me, I say, look, do what you want. You got your own life. But whatever you do, I also give them words of encouragement. Whatever you do, choose it, because either it can affect you good or it can affect you bad. You know, and I'm not just talking about people think coaching is just about teaching people how to punch and kick. That is the small part of it. It's the spiritual connection, the teaching of life, metaphorically relating life to fighting. That's what I have a podcast called Coach D Fighting His Life, because of everything aspect of fighting. Like I tell them, you could be a world champion, but what are you going to do after you stop fighting? I want you to be
have a plan.
I want you to be a spiritual world champion. See, when you get out in that world, I don't want people just liking you because you know how to punch and kick. I want people to like you because you have a heart of caring and love, and you're doing productive things in that world, and you're producing good things.
I know it's a different sport, but kind of like how LeBron is.
Yes, that's exactly true. So people forget that this game is way deeper than what people actually realize. You know, people see the guys in the cage and walking out with the music and the t-shirts and the clothes and the boom, but they don't see what goes on all behind closed doors. There's a lot of things that goes on that people don't see. And and this is why a lot of people, I heard one guy he said, if you ever want to become a coach, prepare to get your heart broken.
I've heard that too.
Those are things, it's going to happen.
Yeah. Because you got people that you brought up since a kid, they end up leaving you and going off to someone else.
It happens.
Yep.
It happens, and you got to know that what they do is none of your business. What they do is none of your business, not your fault. See, you got to continue to still press forward and move on, because there's other people that's not going to do that, other people that does need you and does appreciate you and is grateful for you. You know, but everybody's not going to be that way. I mean, I just think in society, period, that a lot of people aren't wired to essentially care for another person's well-being and for another person's heart.
Yeah.
So I believe that these are things that you have to learn as you grow, because we come into a world where the world's already hard and toxic. Yeah. So you're born into bitterness, you're born into hate, you're born into that. So these are all things that you have to unlearn as you grow up.
Especially if you grew up in a harsh environment.
Exactly. That, for sure that. Yeah. But I mean, just us as general, when we come out our mom's womb, everything so when we're learning, with the things that we see really are like not great things. I don't care where you're at. It's just, so these are the things that start manifesting and so has your spirit and your heart. So what happens is you have to unlearn those things. And this is what I see in the coaching game. A lot of these guys, I watch them and I see them, and I'm I'm scanning their spirit, watching what they're doing. I'm like, man, all of them have a similar thing. They all have this similar thing going on, and it helps me understand, but it also lets me know that because of that everybody's not my assignment. Everybody, I'm not supposed to protect everybody, although I want to because I have a protected heart. But in that, as a coach, you can lose yourself doing that.
You're putting so much into
them,
yeah.
And then you're losing yourself. And then you start going without. You start doing that, and those same people that you put into can just go do this and go do that, and then you're still having to pick up the pieces of things that hurt you and failed you and stuff like that. So I tell people all the time, you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
It's going to be hard to take care of other people when you can't take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Because regardless, my mom told me a long time ago, whether you do good or bad, somebody's going to always have something to say.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen, bro. I've been coaching and train these guys, work them, and then they go somewhere else and I hear them saying something like, well, he didn't do this and he didn't do this. It's like, man, you guys have the nerve to bring those things out your mouth.
And then they're going somewhere else and saying it whenever they could just be straight up came to you and be like, hey, you should work on this or something like that, but they're not.
No.
Going off, and it's just more of disloyalty, more of you feeling that too.
That's right. Communication is a failed thing in society.
Yeah.
Communication is a failed thing in society, and so. But I've learned over the years and stuff like that. And at one point, I actually didn't even want to coach no more. I was just so beat down on it. But then I got resurrected through spiritual things and God bringing different people around, and fighters that actually do care and fighters that actually do want to train. And it kind of got me back up to coaching again. You know?
Exactly.
I just decided that I'm not going to no longer put myself out there to drown.
Exactly.
For nobody that won't offer a hand to pull me out.
Yeah.
To drown in water. I'm not doing that no more. There's no substitution for your peace and your sanity.
Exactly.
That's what it is. I love the sport. People ask me, am I passionate about it? I'm like, I don't know if it's my passion. I think that my passion is people. So people just happen to be a part of what I'm dealing with in this. So I love helping people, but I'm passionate about helping people. And if this is a gift that God gave me to help people, then I'm gonna use it.
Exactly. Who would you say, either amateur or pros or any league, who would you say is the best MMA fighter that you've ever seen?
That I've coached or that I've seen?
I was gonna ask you coaching after, but ever seen first?
That's a broad question. I've seen a few guys. Right off the top of my head, I've seen a lot of. See, here's the reason why that question is interesting, because there's a lot of good ones that I've seen, but just didn't
go nowhere.
Decided they want to.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to ask you, because there are fighters that you think that could have been there, but you know they could have been something great, but they just never really fully took that route. I want to know, like I said, it could be amateur or pro, or professional. Who was that fighter for you? You like, you know what? I know that kid could actually do something.
Okay, well, I'm gonna talk about my guy then. The same one I just told you, Kevin Fernandez. Mm-hmm. Kevin Fernandez is probably one of the best fighters I've ever seen. And I'm not saying that because I just trained him. It just happened that he spent a lot of time with me, and because you can train a fighter, but a fighter's gonna have to want to be trained, and they're also gonna have to be able to articulate that training into their own mind and own spirit, and he does that really well. He's really good at. He's probably one of the best fighters I've ever seen. One of the best fighters I've ever seen. As far as his balance, and what I mean by fighters, I mean everything: the mental side of it, his balance, his spirit, the way he's able to put things together, his distance, his range. He's very well-rounded. He can box really good. He can kickbox really good. He can wrestle really good. He's got a really good jiu-jitsu, and he's got a fearless spirit, and he's very intelligent, smart, patient. When he gets in that cage, that ring, he's one that I don't worry about. He's not going to put himself in danger when he don't need to. He knows when it's time to get you out of there. He knows when it's not. He knows how to adapt to every style. Yeah. I have another one that I'm bringing up, and you guys remember this name. His name is Indrid Sua. He's an African kid from the same tribe that Francis Ngannou
Yeah.
from. 27 years old, was a pro basketball player. Had his first amateur kickboxing fight, only a couple of months of training, fought a guy with 10 fights. We ended up TKing on him with leg kicks in the first round. But he's another one that comes in the gym and has the mind, 6'11", 285 pounds.
So heavyweight.
Yeah, so when I tell you, now you see the heavyweight division, this guy is going to be the future of the heavyweight division. I mean, he has the mental. He has every day I look at my stories, the guy's working out. I don't have to tell him to go work out. He's working out, lives all the way in Dallas, drives here religiously, 4 days a week to train. Okay? And he works overnight, wakes up after he goes to work, comes back to the gym after he get off at 6 in the morning, comes to the gym to train. He has it. Those are the kind of guys I'm looking at. Those are the kind of guys like him, Kevin Fernandez. I got another kid named Andrew Strickland. He's another one that I see that's going to be something real big. So what I'm seeing now is about the quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I've had 30 fighters in my gym at one time. It means nothing. Quality, and those 3 names I gave you, those guys are guys that I actually enjoy coaching.
Yeah.
Because
it's fun for you.
Yes, because they pay their dues. They're coachable. They listen and they work hard. And on top of that, they're talented. And
exactly.
I mean, so it's like, how could you not feed into those guys? In the past you hear guys like, well, you don't work with me that much. Of course I'm not gonna work you that much. You're not showing me nothing. You think I'm gonna put myself?
Exactly. You gotta show me something for.
I'm gonna put myself out there for you.
Exactly.
Doing that. No, I'm taking away time from myself, my family, or these guys that really want to train. They work with you when all I know you're a wild card and you don't know whichever the wind might blow you this way, you're thinking this way. The wind might blow you the next day, you're thinking this way. No, I'm looking for solid individuals, people that are solid, not just as a fighter, but who they are as a man. Because if you're solid as a man, you're gonna be solid as a fighter. If you're not solid as a man or a woman, then your fighting don't mean nothing, right? So,
have you ever had to pull a fighter before a fight because you didn't think that they were ready mentally, didn't think that they were there, or been like, oh, he's been slacking. I don't want to be in his corner for this one because not anything against them, but just been like, you haven't been showing me anything. I ain't gonna let you go out there and represent us like that.
Yeah, a few times.
What does it take for you to do that? Because I know that'd be more of a last resort type thing.
Looking once again, discerning the mental state, looking at spiritual state, mental state, watching how they train or lack of.
Yeah.
And if I see that it's not like that, then we don't fight. We might not even get to the point where you might be fighting at all. So
exactly.
How hard is it for a coach to throw in the towel if they're seeing their fighter take a punishment?
It's not hard at all.
I wouldn't think so either, just because you spent so much time with that fighter, you brought him up, you don't want to see him, because you know whenever.
I just want to know from the coach's side, because you hear, like, if you ever watch a fight, you hear commentators saying like, oh yeah, they need to stop this fight or something like that, or a coach need to throw in the towel or something like that.
But some coaches,
I want to know, like, what comes into the decision making behind that. Like, what do you see that you like? All right,
just when it's not intelligent to defend himself. Simple. Like, you don't getting hit too much.
Would you have thrown him in Max Holloway? Did you watch that fight?
I did. Yes. Yeah. Probably would have did that.
That was a pretty big beatdown right there.
Probably would have did that. You don't see that often in MMA though. You don't see often people throwing towels in MMA. It's really less common than it is in boxing, but yeah.
What are your thoughts on Izzy and Jones? Cam has been telling me for a while, which he's been telling me that he thinks Jones is ducking Izzy. I personally don't think that.
No, I don't think that at all. I think it's just a matter of circumstances and timing with the fighting and stuff like that. Jones is going to heavyweight, Izzy's going to light heavyweight.
But me and him have been arguing about it. He was like, Jones is going to heavyweight to duck Izzy. I'm like, no. Jones is a fighter.
Yeah, he's a fighter.
He ain't ducking nobody.
He's been actually talking about going heavyweight
for a while,
even before he came in.
I get that. And it's just me personally, just from where a fighter done called him out before, he done stepped up to the plate with him. Yeah. And this is the first time I ever seen, and I'm a big John Jones fan. This is the first time I ever seen him like, no, I'm not even gonna worry about you. You just lightweight.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you think about it, there's an 85er and a 205er. So in his mind at first, I guess it wasn't making sense. Like, I mean, we're in two different weight classes. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So I don't know. I don't see him being a guy that's scared. And actually,
when I say ducking, I don't really mean scared. I just feel like he's just looking at it like you're not worth my time.
Well, I don't think Izzy's pushing the fight either, though.
Yeah.
I don't think Izzy's.
I think he's just.
Yeah, Izzy's not pushing that fight really either. So neither one of them really pushing it. If you really look at it, they just talking noise back and forth. They just talking trash.
Yeah.
But no one's really pushing the fight. Those two aren't really pushing to fight each other. Although I do believe if those two fought, as good as Izzy is, I take Jones.
I would too.
Just because he's just so much larger and bigger, and then the wrestling counts.
The wrestling background.
I think he'll be able to get him down.
Yeah.
If it's a striking match, Izzy got him.
But Jones ain't gonna let that.
He's gonna mix it up, take him down,
and then I also feel like just and now that I really think about it, I really feel like this is one major reason why Jones moved to heavyweight. I feel like he slowed down a lot, and so that I feel like with these new up-and-comer fighters in the lightweight division or light heavyweight division, they're starting to catch up with him. Because you notice in his last couple of light heavyweight fights, they've been a lot closer than what they should have been.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And I feel like moving up to heavyweight is good for him because of some fact. I feel like he has slowed down, and I feel like him at heavyweight, he'd be faster than every heavyweight in that division.
Yeah, probably so.
And he still has that power and everything.
Yeah, I can see that.
But there's that heavyweight that fought last night. He wasn't too bad.
No, he wasn't. But at the same time, that fight last night, it just you can tell that he probably won't ever hold the title.
What old school greats do you think could last in today's MMA? Do you think any of them? Personally, I don't think much of them could because MMA has evolved so much from the first UFC to now.
Right.
It used to be jiu-jitsu, then it used to be wrestling. Now the wrestling, now the strikers,
a little bit of everything.
The strikers have learned to wrestle.
No, I don't think so. Like Horace Gracie could not.
No.
He would not stand a chance in today's world.
I don't even think Matt Hughes or any of them could either.
No.
Like I would say
they was good
GSP could just more.
Yeah, he's still relevant.
Yeah, exactly. But like any of the first ones, I think it'd just be.
No.
I don't even know if they even make it to the UFC at that point. Some of them.
Some of them would, but I just don't know if they have long careers.
Yeah. Exactly. Because it's just the game is just evolving now. That calf kick is a big game changer too.
Yeah. I've been teaching that kick though.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Everybody says I've been teaching that kick for 12 years.
What do you think about the Conor Dustin fight?
Dustin was smart by changing the game.
Who'd you have before the fight?
Here's the deal. Even during the fight, it was looking like it was going to get bad for Dustin quick.
Yeah.
He was getting hit, touched, and he came out and switched it up. Had he not went to those calf kicks and started doing that, I thought he was going to have a short night. And I still believe that.
But have you seen the way that Conor's his style has changed over those last few fights? And in this Dustin fight, you could tell that he just came more in that boxing stance. Kept his hands up high like he never usually does.
Yeah.
He wasn't light on his feet. Honestly, the best Conor that I think that I've seen was I think it was whenever he fought Matt Holloway.
I saw that.
The way that
I was there.
Yeah, the way that he mixed everything up.
I was cornering James Vick that day. James was fighting the Najee Ramsey or something.
Yeah, Ramsey Nijam.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was there. I saw that fight. You know, they were both coming up before they became superstars. I mean, Conor's still Conor, man. He's still dangerous. Dustin did good by adjusting the game plan, going to those kicks, and that changed the game for him.
And before that fight, I was like, if Dustin can fight the same way he fought Dan Hooker, or pretty much if he could take the shots the way he took him in the Dan Hooker fight and in the Gaethje fight, then I was like, think he has a shot at taking Connor if he could last those shots and last to the second round. But as soon as I saw him start putting it on Connor, I was like, okay, he can't just look. Whenever Connor starts throwing down against Diaz, he was against the cage. He was trying to do that bobbing and weaving and trying to take him up on the shoulders and everything. I knew that wouldn't work if Dustin started coming at him like that.
Yeah.
Just because Dustin's heavier hands, and I think his boxing's a little bit more crispier than Diaz. Even though Diaz does have good boxing, but to me, he fights more of a long style. Like he has that long frame, striking style to where he does sometimes overextend, and you can touch him. Right. And do you think Connor can come back and beat Dustin in this next fight, or do you think it can end up going the same way?
I think so.
Do you think he'll ever make it to gold again?
I think he can. Think so. You can't count that guy out. He's intelligent. He always adjusts, and I think he'll make the adjustment. I don't think Dustin will be kicking him like that next time. I think he'll know better to deal with that next time. So.
James was showing me on one of the fight reviews that Connor he wasn't taking them bad. He was checking most of them pretty good. It's just that calf kick just.
Yeah, you can't stand.
Yeah.
You can't stand on that leg, man.
And that's where we're going to end on the Homies, the Hands episode 2. Appreciate y'all. Y'all can follow us on the Homies Network, on YouTube, Facebook, Homies Podcast, Instagram, all that. And make sure y'all please follow this man, Durwyn Lamb, at Lamb 4 Gym. One of the greatest coaches in Fort Worth ever seen. One of the greatest coaches to ever coach in MMA. Check him out.